Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarapal, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Welcome back, visionaries, to this week's episode, which I know is going to be a phenomenal one. Now, today I'm speaking to not only an incredible change agent, but also my client, whom I admire, love, and adore, because of her vision and what she's doing in and for the world. Now, our next guest runs two businesses. Both she loves, but the one that brings her probably the most joy is her nonprofit organization, which has started in 2006 when she spent a year in Thailand volunteering after the tsunami disaster. You know, things change when there's a disaster. She believes that everybody can be inspired to do good, and that what goes around comes around. Hell yes, isn't that true? And that every single individual can do something to make this world a better place. Just by a smile, even just a smile, you can make the world a better place. She's determined to do anything she can to raise awareness and be a catalyst for other people to take action. Now, this could be anything from teaching mindfulness and yoga to sharing knowledge, raising funds, housing a refugee, or even just helping rebuild a house after a natural disaster. Her biggest desire and vision is to take human rights to a new level. Ooh, and start talking about our human responsibilities. Yes, please. To invest our energy and capital in creating the kind of society that we will all benefit from. Generations, people, generations. A future with less poverty, no slavery, and better respected human rights for everyone. Now, she's very passionate about finding people and projects in the world that are making a difference, to help people to find a good cause to get involved in and celebrate the good that is done every day. Our guest has devoted large parts of her life to projects that make a difference. Now, she's raising funds through fundraisers and incredible awareness events, and writes articles to raise consciousness. She's a philosopher, a philanthropist about human trafficking and other crimes against human rights, as well as building homes and safe spaces for those who have been trafficked. This is something that we close our eyes to, and it's happening still today. So I am honored to be sharing our next guest with you, and know that you too will be inspired to be the change in the world, and that being the change is not reserved for the holy and righteous, but for you and me too. So, without further ado, please put your hearts in reception mode for the one and only Ulrika Lorenz. Hello, lovely Ulrika.
Hello, Sashka. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself? How are you today?
I'm feeling fabulous. The sun is shining. Sitting here speaking with you couldn't be better.
Oh. So I want to start off with, where are you in the world today? And have you always lived there?
Today I am in Sweden, and this is always my base. I have lived in Thailand. I've been living in Australia, in Florida, in Costa Rica, and I spent a lot of time in Nepal, where my heart is at the moment. But my base is always Sweden.
That's amazing. And are you there with your family?
I am. My husband, Stefan, and our 4 children. Yes, I think I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to travel the world. At the same time as I can have the base for my family, a very secure country as Sweden.
There's something about when you visit a country or where there's been a disaster in 2006 and your heart is touched by something like that, and you want to make a difference and you're trying to help and do something, but you dove head in, first, you just let's do this, and devoted so much of your time, energy, money, family, moving. Why are you so passionate about this? Why do you want to stop the demand on sex trafficking?
Part is within my personality. I want it all, and I want it now. I want things to be done, and I don't take no for an answer. So when the disaster happened in Thailand, I watched the television and saw all the bodies spread out on the beach. and everything was totally ruined. Not only papers, businesses, houses, but children. And I thought, we have to do something now. And you can always put some money into an account and try to help that way, which is very, very good. But we wanted to do something with our hands. So we called a man who I knew went down with basically 2 suitcases with money, trying to help. And he gathered all the hotel owners on Phi Phi Island in Thailand, in the archipelago. And he said, what can we do? The people, the Thai people, they already have the knowledge. They already run the businesses for ages. So they just need a good start again. So he started a microcredit foundation. And we collaborated together with him to build the infrastructure up again. So we spent a year in Thailand, and our children went to school. And it was a marvelous experience for us all.
That's incredible.
Feel good, too good.
Feel good, do good. Yeah. So you started up this microcredit and building up the infrastructure again. Where did it go then from there? Like things then move on. You were a year there. So where did you go from there?
Yes, what we saw that together with Marlene Spies was the core person in this microcredit foundation. Together with her, we met so many prostitutes, so many women in their panicked estate. They were lured into prostitution, and that is what often happens in a disaster, because children, they're just spread around and they're getting orphanaged. So we visited a home for women and children infected by the disease AIDS. And their stories struck me. And we just cried the whole afternoon together and said, we have to do something about this. And the sex tourism in Asia, in Australia, in the US, in Sweden, I mean, it's everywhere. And also now it's on the internet. But that very moment, that very day was the start. When I understood that I have to do this for the rest of my life, I will do investments where the return on that investment is happiness, better life, and education for children, so they don't have to go through what they did.
That's incredible. So you're like the Jane Goodall of sex trafficking, putting that into place. Now, for our listeners that are listening and going, I'd really like to, because there are a lot of us that want to be the change and they want to get involved with something. And there's so many places that we can donate to and where there's crowdfundings and heaps of things. You just don't know as the donator or the sponsor, where is this money actually going? Like there's big foundations, SOS, Kinderdorf, or I don't know, there's just so many charities out there, big names as well. And you're just never sure, is my money really going to the person or what's actually happening over there? Now, for the listeners listening, how do they know, or if they wanted to help, or if they wanted to do good in the world? It's always about who you know, not necessarily what you know. How did you get to know all these people, the connections, the networking, in order to start an infrastructure, a framework to help these women in Nepal or Thailand so that you can start somewhere? When you start a business, you go to the Chamber of Commerce. So where did you go to start these things where the listeners, if they're wanting to help, where are they going to help stop sex trafficking?
Through personal meetings with human beings. Because everything starts with a human being, with a thought, with a meeting. I always interview the owner of a foundation before I start collaborating with them. I would never send money just to any organization, just hoping that my money will go through. So I think what happens in the space between people where we meet, that is where the magic is happening. So through my yoga teacher, I met with this incredible woman in Nepal, in Kathmandu. She's born and raised in Kathmandu, and she has worked for human rights for her whole life. She has even been in prison 3 times because she was against the regime, and she just wanted to strive for women empowerment. So she has done during her whole life. She's now in her 70s, and she's running transit homes for former sex slaves. A word I don't like to use, but that is actually what it is. The children who are forced into prostitution against their will, even kidnapped sometimes. They're sold over the open border from Nepal, often to Bombay or Kolkata in India. and they are giving them drugs, so they are more willing to have sex. And that is the reality. As we are speaking now, in this very moment, children are sold over the border. Trucks are going, and the cargo is children. And right now, when we are speaking, people are actually raping children in the brothels. And right now, someone is getting maybe $100 for a stepdaughter or for a so-called girlfriend. And this is happening right now. And because of that, we have staff at the open border so they can check the passports, check the documents, and see if they are really allowed to take the children over the border. So that is I think that is the most efficient thing to do, except for giving children and adults education about the whole network over prostitution, pornography, education for children, awareness programs, everything.
And at the same time, while all this is happening right now, all this sex trafficking, at the same time, we can be doing good by supporting, by donating, by getting involved, or even volunteering to come and be a part of the organization. It's a start to eradicating what the negativity is about what's happening right now, because it all starts somewhere. Even the inverted commas, the evil starts somewhere, but it doesn't mean that it needs to continue. It only continues and gets stronger when no one takes a stand against something or someone. So what are you doing right now? Are there campaigns happening right now to help against sex trafficking? Maybe just go a little bit into detail. What is the sex trafficking? Is it slavery? I mean, this is happening today. Like things like this, unbelievable.
It is happening today. Like we have said so many times, they don't need our pity. They need good solutions.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help them us sitting here crying.
Yeah.
So I want to feel as good as possible so I can do as much good as possible. So for example, we are having a fabulous campaign where we're renting a big sailing yacht, big catamaran. We are sailing along the west coast. We are going into the harbors, and in every harbor we are arranging an after beach event with a fabulous, cool rock band, which name is the Poodles.
Woohoo!
And there are 4 cool men who are against sex trafficking and who want to do everything in their power to make this happen and to make a lot of awareness. And at the same time, as people are sitting there, maybe having a beer or two, and they are having a good time listening to this fabulous rock band, and also our guitarist Kalle and Olivia and Denise, who will start these events with a lot of good songs in the summer. We will talk about sex trafficking, and we will not talk about depressing this is or the negativity. We want to see, look here what we can do. All together in this community, in this very moment, we can do something very, very good for ourselves, for them, for the future, for our children, for the world. That is one step closer to peace on earth. If we start understanding each other and each other's situation and trying to build bridges from one culture to another, then we have come a long way.
This huge yacht, I get seasick. So I'm just like, it looks amazing. And the water looks amazing. I'm like, oh. But you just in one part of Sweden, or you traveling, or how does it work? And I've never heard of the Poodles. So that's pretty exciting. So I'll have to Google them and find out about them and have a listen. Yeah. Are they a Swedish band?
They're a Swedish band, and they are very involved in television galas. They are touring. I mean, they are like a rock band, and they have been in the Swedish part of the Eurovision contest.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
oh, wow.
So they have won a few times, and they're really sincere and really brave people.
That's amazing. So they're like ambassadors. Can someone become an ambassador for Do Good Now?
They are.
Cool. How does one become an ambassador?
You can go on our website, www.dogoodnowglobal.com, and there you can read about us and you can contact us. And the best thing to make awareness is to talk. Talk with people when you're sitting around a dinner table. Bring the subject up and see if people are interested in speaking a little bit about this. I think that is how you connect also. And I have a friend who has a meditation group. She can collect money in this meditation group, and then she sends it to us. and they feel good at the same time as they are doing good. So there are so many small things we can do. Of course, donate money and be part of the project. We have a very, very interesting project. We're building a bed and breakfast house in Kathmandu, in Nepal. And that is because I don't think that people want only to live on donations. Because in these transit homes, created by Durga Gimire, the brave woman that I talked about, that we collaborate with in Kathmandu, she has got transit homes where they, at the moment, live by donations. And we thought that I have a very good friend, he's a film producer, and he wanted to do some documentary filming in Nepal together with me. I'm very honored. I'm very pleased that this is happening because we gave them some ideas of what if you can be more self-sufficient? What if you can create a bed and breakfast business where you can invite tourists? It's so popular to trek the mountain, trek the Himalayas, climb Mount Everest, go around Annapurna Mountain, the very beautiful mountain in the center of Nepal. What if we invite tourists and trekkers to our bed and breakfast run by women and children who were in Bombay, Kolkata, in the brothels, rescued back, and they can show the beauty of their country, and they can talk about the culture, they can offer them food for breakfast, and that is building bridges between cultures. And then they can have another sort of self-esteem. And if you can build self-esteem in people, you will also build joy. And I also think that is one step closer to a friendlier world and peace.
I love that. Do you have like a home before the bed and breakfast is now being built where girls, children are being brought in? Are they being counseled? Is there a need for our listeners who are life coaches or counselors or doing Reiki and EFT and all those things? Is there a need for them to perhaps offer their services in some kind of way as well as a solution to do good now?
When they first come to a home like this, it's like the Maslow's pyramid or the Maslow's stairs. You have to have your base needs fulfilled before you can add on. But they are now getting trauma therapy, education, food and shelter, and a home.
Wow.
And a possibility to be part of a community, part of a family, so to speak. But of course, all these services, if we can offer that, that would be even better because everyone can profit from a service like that.
Oh.
And for about $1,000 or 1,000 euros, you can provide for one child during 1 year.
Wow.
In this shelter. So you get so much for our money in the Western world, you get so much over there.
And you just realize how much, it's not so much how much we have in terms of monetary value, but how the lifestyle that we have, how much it is compared to, not that we should be comparing, but compared to 1,000 euros or $1,000 in that environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as an investor, because that is what I have done all my working life, I'm trying to find good investments with good return on that investment and how can I earn more money. And all of a sudden I thought the best investment I can do is actually in life and to make a difference, because that gives so many rings on the water. Because I hate the word help, because I think if I can give another person an opportunity, I'm the one who's getting as much help, so to speak. And I get so much more in return.
That's so true.
So that is the best investment I have found. So
two-way street, yeah. Do you ever find, or is it like that or not, that when children, girls that come into the homes, that they want to go back to their parents, that they desire to go back, or how do they?
Sometimes. Sometimes not. Because sometimes it's not doable because there are no parents. There is one parent who is most of the time drunk, or one parent who have, maybe this person have 14 other siblings, and that was the reason why he or she was kicked out of the home, because there was no room. And most parents, since they don't, of course they don't know most of the time that they are selling the children to a brothel. They think they are selling the children to a factory or to work as a maid in a home. But normally they will end up in sex trafficking anyway, in some way. And most of the times they won't see each other again. I have a friend in Kathmandu, and when she was in her 20s, when I met her the first time, she was very, very wounded. And she was stabbed all over with a knife. And I asked her what happened, and she told me that she fell in love with a man and she got a baby, but he didn't want a baby, so he threw her out. And then she found a lady who gave her shelter, but after a few days she woke up in another house, which turned out to be a brothel in Bombay. She has never seen her son ever since. She doesn't know where he is, because this lady sold her over to India, drugged her and sold her over. But this lady, her name is Parvati, and she's very, very brave. So, and very smart. She actually ran away. The brothel owner found out, so he sent his guards after her. They beat her and thought they killed her. They put her between the tracks.
The railway tracks. Oh my
The
God.
railway tracks by the railway station. The Indian police found her. And this is a very good news, because very many policemen nowadays are not corrupt at all. They want to help. So they contacted the Nepali police. And Parvati, she was transported to our transit home. And she went to hospital. And now she works in one of the transit homes.
Oh, wow.
But this is a typical story. And after having heard so many Parvati stories, I thought that this is what I have to do for the rest of my life, in some form, in different constellations. And I have to have as many people aboard that I can.
Where are the touch points in Do Good Now Global? So there's the home that you're building, wanting to build, where we can donate towards in Nepal, the bed and breakfast. There's the campaign running at the moment in Sweden, where I know that you can win for 2 people a day on the Catamaran in Sweden, because you're doing a tour. So that's a touch point. And in Nepal or in Kathmandu, there's the transit home. So that's a touch point. There's at the borders, there's a touch point. Where are other touch points within Do Good Now where you're bringing awareness just about what you can do, not necessarily the awareness about the sex trafficking, because we're aware of that and it's not the pity. You're wanting to educate and bring awareness about of what you can actually do to create change.
We have had ongoing information campaign to schools in Sweden, especially international schools, where young people can inform young people, because I think that they speak the same language, and if they can inform each other about what is happening, the interest will be higher. So I also want to reach young men, because I will give them a choice. I will speak with them about pornography, about prostitution, and how the network is actually built. There is someone earning so much money on other people and on other people's bad situations. So I think if we can have as many ambassadors as possible that can go to schools and inform about what is really happening. And I think awareness and education is key. So if you can, in one hand, educate children so they know about what is happening in the world, so they won't get trapped. And on the other hand, we can inform other people who are more fortunate to understand we can never buy another human person, another human being. That is not okay. We have to stop it now.
How do the children receive the information, the awareness? How do your children receive it?
Much more naturally. I mean, we have dragged them around the world.
Oh, no, the country, Mom.
And they didn't have a choice. So they're just born with it. And one compliment, then we recently lived in the States for 2 years. And I was so touched by one of my son's teachers, because he came up to me and said, Vincent, that is my son, Vincent is amazing. He treats girls equally as he treats boys on the soccer field, because he would give the ball to a girl as often as a boy. That is very unusual. And I thought, we have come a long way. So I don't want to hear that in a few years. I want that to be completely normal for everyone.
Yeah,
we have to start there.
That's how it starts. It's just influencing the generations. We all think myself included. I'm not doing enough, or I'm not putting enough out there. But if we're not doing anything, we're still not doing anything. So it's every day, just that little bit of something that we're doing, spreading information, wisdom, our children, awareness, putting it out there, and it just ripple effects.
And to do things. I mean, young people, they love doing things.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of our daughters, Olivia, she has made a documentary film in Nepal.
Oh, wow.
And Denise, our daughter, when she heard this story about Parvati and when she met her in Nepal, she decided the money that her plan originally was to do some fun things with her money she had owned over the weekends when she worked in a restaurant. She said, no, I want to give this money to Parvati.
Wow.
And in the end, the money went to new blankets and new mattresses for all the girls in the shelter. So I think that fulfillment that she felt, that is worth so much more than the money she actually gave away. Yeah. So I want to invite people on my journeys to Nepal, because everyone can be inspired and everyone can do something.
To do good now. Ulrika, we're coming to the end, and I'd love to ask you 2 questions still. How do you want to change or challenge the world doing what you do?
That is such a good question, because you summarized it so well in the beginning. So I thought, what will I add here? To feel good, because you have to start with yourself. If you want to change the world, you have to be the change.
Yeah.
So be the change if you want to see a change in the world. And most important is starting to feel good yourself. Then you can do good.
Yeah. Can you fill in the blanks on 3 of my values, what they mean to you? So creativity for you is?
Joy.
Oh, wow. Passion for you is?
Work hard. Be happy. Make a change. Meeting with human beings.
Wisdom for you is?
Kindness.
That's nice. Ulrika, thank you so much for being with us here today. I'm so honored to have you here today, and spreading the message, spreading the word that, in order to be the change, we need to be the change, or bring change into the world. For listeners listening in, you can find Ulrika on dogoodnowglobal.com. Pretty much all the social media handles are also under this name. You can look in the show notes, her favorite book, her favorite quote, some information from her, and get in contact and become an ambassador. Get in contact with Ulrika and her team and apply to be an ambassador as well, and how you are changing yourself to be the change in the world and to do good and feel good. Thank you so much, Ulrika.
Thank you so much, Saskia.
Have an awesome day, and thank you to the listeners, and I'll see you again next week. Have an awesome week. Bye-bye. Dang, that was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.